Hello, today we'll be going over the effects of game-based learning in accounting education. What is game-based learning? Game-based learning is an educational tool that allows you to customize outcome designed to meet specific learning goals. The difference between game-based learning and traditional lectures is traditional lectures are considered a passive form of education, where game-based learning is considered a more active form. This allows students to have a risk-free environment and compared to real-world consequences like tests, quiz, and assignments that could affect their grade. Why is this important specifically for accounting? Is in the past few years, well actually the past 2 decades, we have been seeing a steep decline in bachelor's and master's degree completion in accounting. This is the lowest it's been since 2004 to 2005 for bachelor's and 2008 for the master's program. We are having increasingly low gaps for talent in the industry, coupling with the fact that 75% of CPAs currently working will be retiring in the next 10 to 15 years without the actual talent to fulfill them in these firms. Traditional methods are struggling to retain student talent, while game-based learning offers a path to re-engage students. Now we'll be moving on to my literature review. This study shows that innovation through game-based learning motivates higher education in tertiary and secondary education, yielding positive results in pediatrical value, motivation, and digital autonomy. When we're looking at what Porter and Woolley research on examination of factors affecting students' decision in majoring in accounting, we see students are looking for intrinsic fulfillment. Game-based learning helps bridge the gap between accounting education, which is considered mostly to be picked by students looking to find extrinsic value in their education. We're also changing with the power of perception. Game-based learning helps decision-making, especially for deciding a major when it's driven by intrinsic fulfillment. So this helps us monitor the perception that accounting is only boring and monotonous. Now we can tie back to English skill acquisition. This is important because this research did 21 different research groups using a meta-analysis using different ages for English acquisition skills. This shows that game-based learning can be used at any age and at any form of study. This study particularly showed that it had a significant impact on student engagement. However, the use of GBL can learn in a way that feels fulfilling and autonomous. A common thread in my literature review is perception drives participation. No matter the subject, the student's internal drive is what determines their ultimate academic success. So also a concern in a lot of different literature reviews is the effect on different genders within game-based learning. I specifically looked at the research of the effects of gender and motivation on student achievement in game-based learning. This research showed that games are often assumed to be a one-size-fits-all solution for engagement, but it actually affects the users. Educators are better off offering a solution that has a variety of ways of play, so an open-ended game. We see, though, that there was no significant gap between final test scores between gender. There was just slight differential between motivation and satisfaction, but satisfaction has mainly been varies based on digital autonomy and previous gaming experience. So now we have to look at critical consideration with game-based learning. The effective of game-based learning requires a structured integration where the game supports rather than replacing traditional pedagogical. Critical warnings found in research to fundamentally drive classrooms to over-gamify because we will shift students' focus from intrinsic motivation to extrinsic motivation, which if we look back, a lot of students are wanting that intrinsic motivation when they're choosing majors early on. Game-based learning should be used as a tool to help engagement and aid long-term success, understanding that it is not a core part of the curriculum, but mainly just a tool to help increase engagement and satisfaction in courses. So now we move on to my research. My research, the core approach I used was a quasi-experimental pre- and post-test design. The goal was to see if game-based learning increased engagement and satisfaction and helped students consider studying accounting more. Here's my sample size. I had 12 students ranging from freshmen to masters in business administration. These were all business-related majors. However, there was only a few specifically accounting. The class I did my game-based learning intervention was in a managerial accounting class. The intervention itself was a Jeopardy-style game where we covered 5 questions in 5 different chapters that they had already tested for over the course of the semester. The results showed a positive result in engagement when asked when GBL was introduced. Now we'll be moving on to perceptions of accounting, which I used my pre-test to get their opinions on. My first question was if they found introductory accounting courses to be engaging and enjoyable. I had them rank this on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being they significantly enjoyed the class, while 1 being they had no enjoyment. So we see that 8% did not enjoy it at all, but we had 17% actually say they did enjoy introductory accounting classes, with the majority of students ranking it a 3 or a 4. So that is a positive result saying that they do enjoy accounting, but we are still seeing a lack of students actually decide to major in it. So I also saw they perceive accounting to be more difficult than other business majors. Often students are wanting to get good grades, so deciding to major or minor in accounting when they have a perceived higher difficulty than other majors is also an issue. So with this, we use the same ranking, with 1 being it is the easiest out of all the majors and 5 being one of the most complex. We did see a 50-50 split, with a lot of students believing it had a 4 or 5 significant difficulty compared to other majors, while the other half giving it a 2 or a 3. However, there was no student that believed accounting is considered one of the easiest business majors. Other questions I asked to get their opinions on is if they believe accounting is monotonous rather than interesting. Again, a lot of these are people that are taking introductory accounting courses and have little to no knowledge on what accounting actually means in the real world. So most students are finding it to be on a 3 or 4 level scale, while 1 is showing that they believe it is extremely monotonous, while no one is believing that accounting is truly actually interesting. So I also asked if they believe accountants play a crucial role in business ethics and transparency. So I wanted to get their opinion on whether they believed accounting was actually important to the role and ethics and transparency of business, because while they do believe it is monotonous, they also do believe that it is an important role in average business functions. So now this is after I introduced the game. I went and got their results and how they feel the game increased their learning and critical thinking and engagement. So I did have 83% of people believing that this helps me understand accounting topics better than a lecture. This was people that ranked a 4 or 5. I placed them in a significant increase that they believed that they understood accounting, while 17% believed they had a moderate increase, which I gave them, that was a ranking of 3. I also asked if introductory accounting classes used more game-based learning, I would be interested in taking accounting classes. While we can't win everyone over to majoring in accounting, it would also be amazing if people would just consider taking accounting electives more often so they had a better understanding of accounting going forward. I had 67% of people believe they would significantly increase their opinion on whether taking accounting classes in the future if game-based learning was increased. I also asked if game-based learning were implemented more in accounting classes, I would consider majoring or minoring in accounting. 56 people said they would consider majoring in accounting, which would increase our odds if we were to test this across more introductory accounting courses across different universities. If 56% of business majors believe they were minoring or majoring in accounting, if game-based learning would be implemented more regularly, that would considerably help our pipeline crisis that we're currently in. Other post-test results that I didn't include graphs for are 100% of students enjoyed game-based learning, and 100% believe that game-based learning helped develop their critical thinking skills for accounting topics. So again, I reiterate that if game-based learning was increased in accounting courses, that it would not only just help people consider choosing accounting, but also would help our current test scores in accounting and help our engagement and critical thinking skills. So our key takeaways and conclusions are: game-based learning significantly outperformed traditional lectures in student preference by 83%. 56% of students would consider studying accounting if after game-based learning implication, again, saying how this would affect our pipeline impact currently with the current low that we are in. The verdict is game-based learning is a practical, high-impact tool that can help modernize accounting education. With our critical concern saying this is not to take over current lectures that we are doing, but to just be a tool to help students. Future implications. Engaging students in early accounting courses can help stabilize the current decline. because we want to try to get them in game-based learning and understanding accounting and hook students on before they choose a different major. We are also trying to currently move away from the monotonous perception that accounting is only monotonous, repetitive behavior to attract more students. To save the accounting pipeline, we must evolve our teaching methods to match our students' needs. Thank you.